Either one, you don't want to do that to somebody.
I'm going He Never Died.
Because then you're going to start hating both movies.
Imagine that you're Wednesday in the second Addams Family movie and they're going to lock you in the Disney room and make you watch Disney all day. But it's one or two of these movies all day. Which one is it? Scream 3 or is it He Never Died?
Well, it's got to be the Scream 3. At least I can enjoy some of the characters in it.
I hear you.
Welcome to Season 3 of Talking Pondo. Talking Pondo is a podcast where Cliff and Marty give each other a film to watch and talk about them in detail. Some episodes will include a special guest. Constantine Joins the Space Chimps Part 3 will not be seen this week, so we may bring you the following Director's Edition.
Constantine Joins the Space Chimps.
Oh, Space Chimps, that's left over from last week, but I figured it's just as well. You know, this week we're back. It's Talking Pondo, episode 20 of Season 3.
Woo!
We're talking about Scream 3 and He Never Died for the last spooky season episode of the year.
Ooh.
Yeah, or whenever you're listening to this. You know, I'm Marty.
I'm Cliff.
And this is Talking Pondo, where we talk about two random movies. Sometimes we do a themed episode, like this week is mildly themed. Like, you know, it's like I pick a horror movie and then we'll talk about it. And then it becomes part of the spooky season. You see how easy it is to put a podcast together, kids? Well, in theory, it sounds easy, but it's really a lot of hard work.
Sometimes the theme is, hey, we haven't seen this. We call that a blind pick. And then sometimes it's, we just did a Talking Kilmer. So it's, you know, the theme is obviously Val Kilmer. I think we've got a Talking Mathal coming up.
Oh, that's very true.
You know, Talking Figgy Pondo coming up. So there are multiple themed episodes.
A lot of themes coming up. Yeah. A Thanksgiving episode, multiple Christmas specials like you were hinting at, and then of course the New Year's. Episode 100.
We haven't really done any. I don't think we've done any Valentine's or St. Patrick's Day.
No, we tend to give ourselves a break from this block of themed stuff, and it's like, okay, did we get into the beginning of the year? Okay, just start bringing guests on. And speaking of guests, I think starting in season 4, ideally, I'm going to try to have more guests.
Yeah, it's every other episode, right?
Yeah, something like that, at least, where. So we can, you know, people don't have to wait in the wings forever to come back on because we space it out so much. But if we amp up the amount of guests, then everybody can have a little bit of time on the show quicker. I think
everybody wants to be on the show, and we just, you know,
right? It's the happening place to be.
It's the happening place to be, and we want to give them time to be on the show. But you know, we also we started this so that I could make Marty watch movies that I knew he hadn't seen, that I wanted him to see so we could talk about it. And he, for the same reason, was like, yeah, I have movies that I want you to see that you probably won't watch otherwand so.
Right. We still got to have time for that.
And boy, has that been interesting.
Yeah. And, you know, who wouldn't want to come on the show when we're talking about things like Scream 3 and He Never Died this week on Talking Pondo.
So we have a viewer mail. I forgot about that.
Yeah, this came from a different source than usual, so that's why it took a while to get to. But
yeah, we're still new to this, I guess, and so. But yeah, I'm looking for it now to find it.
It was on the Apes episode.
It's on the Apes episode, yeah. So it was through Spotify, and somebody commented on the Apes episode, which was pretty hilarious, and said, I thought you were talking about the Forbidden Zone, the movie, not the Forbidden Zone in Planet of the Apes.
And you know what the funny thing is even though our TV show was called The Forbidden Zone, it was strictly a Planet of the Apes reference. And to this day, I still have not seen Forbidden Zone.
I haven't either.
The Elfman film. But it's probably more than a prime candidate for this program at some point because.
True.
Yeah.
True. No, that's very
in
true.
name alone.
Yeah, we probably. It's weird that you and I did 100 episodes of a television show called The Forbidden Zone and never ever watched Forbidden Zone, not once.
It was not easy to get a hold of back then, as well, right? You could find a VHS of it in 90 to 92, but it probably is not as easy as getting a hold of like a Blu-ray or something would be now. Just hop on Amazon.
True.
I think that had something to do with that. I feel like if it was in front of us, we would have been like, a movie called Forbidden Zone, put that tape in the machine. We need to watch that.
Right, right. It wasn't at the Duke's video store, that's for sure.
It certainly was not at Duke's Video. I was going to say we only do one show a week, but if you want episodes like about the adventures of Duke's Video, well, then we'll just have to open up a Patreon and expand out to more episodes.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. Yeah,
that's not up yet, but soon I'm hoping we'll get a Patreon set up.
If you're interested in the stories of our lives and all the things that went on that had to do with Duke's videos and so on and so forth, and
what I can remember,
viewings at the U of A and so on, and the things that kind of formed us, or at least, I mean, some of them are hilarious stories, to be completely honest with you. Let us know. We'll create a Patreon and throw some things out there for you.
Yeah, for only $1 a month, but it doesn't exist yet, but soon.
For only $1 a month, you can save a starving podcast artist.
At least help pay for the hosting.
At least help pay for the hosting of the starving podcast artist.
But, that brings us to our movies today, neither of which were available for rent at Duke's Video, National Video, or even the Bijou.
No.
Or anybody's local video place. Although, I bet Scream 3 is probably old enough to have had a VHS release for a rental, at least.
I mean, Scream 3 was probably available at Blockbuster Video at some point.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. He Never Died? No way.
2015, outside of a fan VHS, I don't think.
Maybe a Redbox.
Imagine if Redbox had VHS tapes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's scarier than both today's movies combined. That thought.
I remember that if you didn't rewind your movies, they charged you 50 cents to rewind it.
Right. You remember when they didn't charge you a rewind fee?
Mm-hmm.
And then people abused it to where the rewind fee actually became instituted in the first place. That's how old we are. We were this and more in the Duke's Video Patreon.
I'm telling you guys, Patreon. I mean, you're going to want this Patreon. What do you want to start with first?
Well, speaking of Be Kind Rewind, you used to have to rewind the movie before you took it back. Mm-hmm. And then in the year 2001, I guess it was, the DVD of Scream 3 came out, and you could re-edit the movie yourself. And so it has moved all the way to that. So I guess let's start with what? I'm still trying to figure it out. What is Scream 3 from the year 2000?
All right. You and me will go on this journey together because I'm also in search of knowledge. Scream 3 from the year 2000, rated R, 1 hour, 56 minutes. A young woman, a reporter, and an ex-policeman are drawn to the set of a horror movie. That's your log line. Your storyline. A new film is currently in production and a killer is on the loose. The murderers draw a reporter, ex-cop, and young woman to the set of the movie inspired by their life. They soon find out that they are dealing with a trilogy. And in a trilogy, anything can happen. What a terrible...
Well, that's a fancy way of saying we don't have to worry about any kind of rules.
Yeah.
So aren't we being scary by saying all bets are off?
Yeah, yeah, they're making another Stab movie, right? They're making Stab 3, I think it is.
Moving up to Stab 3 now.
Yeah. Cottonweary is now a successful talk show host. Mm-hmm. Sydney now lives in like a constant state of paranoia with a. And look, if I lived in a constant state of paranoia, I would not live with a fucking golden retriever. They're great dogs, but I would have like 2 giant Great Danes that would eat your face in
German
2 seconds.
Shepherds, right?
Yeah, and fucking Doberman Pinschers, pit bulls. Just get 4 fucking pit bulls and just be like, go kill, Ghostface, you silly boy, And it just so hey, it's a pretty dog, But anyway, so we've got that, and then so then they start killing people on the set of Scream 3. People start dying on the Stab 3 set. And, Sydney gets contacted by Ghostface, and, she gets found out where she is. And then, Courtney Cox shows up and Dewey shows up. And it's kind of a mess, to be completely honest with you.
It's, there's a lot of ways to discuss the somewhat of a train wreck. Even though reevaluated movie called Scream 3, I almost called it Stab 3. This was still when you could get a budget to spend 3 to 4 months to shoot your movie, because so-and-so is only available during the first week. Well, this person's not available till then. What are you going to do in the meantime? I tell you what we're going to do in the meantime. We're going to shoot every version possible of every scene so we can just flip book it together in the edit room. And boy, doesn't it feel like it in parts. I think that's the disjointedness of it. Like, it was such a safety net they tried to put out through rewrites or whatever. This one apparently had more production problems than part 2, that it never quite gels for me all the way, because things just feel like rushed together, and I know the dialogue's not as sharp in parts, where you're just like, oh, and even the screenwriter went on record as saying he should have interacted with the cast and been like, do you talk like this? Does your character talk like this? Or, considering you've played this character multiple times already. And so there was a bit of that disconnect, and it's kind of it's there. I like some of the concepts, but it doesn't feel like it was really built upon.
For $40 million, it doesn't. It doesn't feel like a $40 million movie. First off,
they reshot half the film. There's part of it.
In the first 5 minutes of the movie, you get a Creed song, and right away, the movie's gonna suck. You're just like, shit. There's a Creed song in this movie. No. Yeah. And so the Cotton Weary kill is weak. It's weak. It's a weak kill right from the beginning. The Cotton Weary kill is straight up weak. I was like, this is this is not going to be good.
Speak of that scene, there was 2 alternate versions of the opening on the DVD and the extras. One where he finds his girlfriend dead already and then he gets stabbed real quick. A second one where she attacks him and all that happens, and then Cotton tries to escape through the skylight, which is even more ridiculous. You can see why they cut that down. And then the third version that we get, but it's interesting that you bring that up, because it's like, here's once again the legacy of Friday the 13th Part 2's opening of killing off the survivor of the last movie in the first few minutes of the new one. They don't do it a lot in these movies, and I don't know if Friday 2 was the first one actually to start the trend, but it's towards the beginning of that.
But when you compare the two, you're like, Friday the 13th 2 sure got it right with the ice pick straight through the temple, and poor Cotton Weary's death is just not that great.
It makes you also wonder, remember, Cotton was a potential killer in one of the early drafts of Part 2. Yeah. Maybe this is a way of clearing up loose ends once again, that his character was not designed to be in Part 3. But either way, I'm with you. It's kind of it sets the tone of, this one's just going to be check the boxes so we can make a product, so we have Part 3. Yeah. It happens sometimes.
The first kill and the first 2 Screams are pretty great. I mean, the first one in the first Scream is iconic. Drew Barrymore getting killed by Ghostface in the first one is iconic. And the second one's really done pretty well too. And then you get to this one and you're like, okay.
Right. But you know what they all have in common, I noticed, is the first person you see is the first person who's going to get killed, right? In each instance. It's like,
Yeah.
Even the movie's even telling you, "Oh, Cotton's dead," because he picked up the phone right there in the beginning, so you already know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. You knew Cotton was dead, but it was just, it's a terrible death. It's a weak death for Cotton, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't want to harp on it forever, but I'm 20 minutes in and I'm struggling with the movie. They fucked up Courtney Cox's bangs. Like, what the fuck is that haircut that she's got?
Odd look. Yeah.
My God, it's an odd look. And then suddenly there's Jay and Silent Bob, where I'm like, oh, okay, bye guys. It was so weird.
The Jay and Silent Bob vortex. So, as we know, when Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, they're on a film set, Jay and Silent Bob running around through it very much in the Pee-wee's Big Adventure style of escapades. And they run into a set where there's Wes Craven making another Scream movie, and it's a monkey this time. And so it's like, so then we get like this alternate reality version where Jay and Silent Bob are in the Stab 3 set walking around. Not trying to say they're the same worlds, but it's just like a little nod to each other. But this brings larger questions. Which means you're thinking about the movie too much, but we do a podcast about it. Can't help it. Remember back in Scream 1? How many times did you see boxes for Clerks all over the place, right?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Smith was referenced in the first one for sure.
And now Jay and Silent Bob are shown to be the Viewist universe is the Scream universe. So what is the movie Clerks doing? And boom, and your head explodes, Tom Servo style. Kind of a funny little,
That's funny. That's absolutely hilarious.
Speaking of cameos, blink and you'll miss Roger Corman.
Yeah.
As one of the upper execs there alongside Lance Henriksen.
Yep.
I wonder if this could have been a potential part 4 if part 3 had been the Stu Macher controlling teenage kids, but they didn't want to do another movie showing kids doing violence in high school again. So, they tried to make this more of a comedy, and I don't know if it works,
Well, so, I mean, there's a scene in the movie early on, within the first 30 minutes, where Sydney is sleeping with the window open. And I think it points to kind of I know. So in Wikipedia it says basically, they went and shot a lot of footage and they shot variations of scenes. So they had the coverage that they would need due to all these script changes that were coming down, but it's at least got to play logically. It's got to make some internal sense. And it's like, you see her early on again with her golden retriever, who's probably not going to be able to protect her if she gets attacked. Locking her house up. She comes in, she locks the door, she sets the alarm. She moves in, she closes the gate, she locks it, she sets the gate alarm. And then she gets into her room and she goes to bed and she leaves her windows wide fucking open. Like, what? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And I kind of think Sydney's right. Like, if her mom hadn't been a slut, maybe none of this would have happened.
Well, at least as far as this movie tells us, how they like to rewrite things as sequels go. But it's almost like each sequel is its own reboot, too, because they have to change things in order to make it fit. So 3 fits to 2 and 1, but 1 doesn't necessarily fit to 2 or 3, unless you use your imagination.
Well, and Jenny McCarthy, really, I just thought it was a bad choice. She hits Ghostface with a fake sword at one point and it bends, and I'm like, what the fuck Wayans Brothers ass movie shit is this? And I can't even blame the movie. I can't blame the Wayans Brothers, because the movie, at one point, Sydney's running from Ghostface. She's running upstairs and she grabs an entire cart and shoves it down the stairs and has enough time to grab this cart, push it, and then Ghostface has to run back away from it. And it's kind of like, that scene in Scary Movie where he keeps throwing shit down the stairs at Ghostface. And I was just like, oh my God, it's almost earned. It's almost, you made it a meme just yourself. It was so bad. I don't know.
What did they say in the Wikipedia? Like, at one point, executives were like, we don't want any on-screen blood or killing. And then Wes Craven's like, wait a minute. No. If we're making a Scream movie, it has to be a Scream movie.
You got to kill people.
You can't go that far with it.
and Patrick fucking Warburton shows up, and you know, Jenny McCarthy's death is kind of lame too, and
well, it's of the time period, right? It's 2000. Let's put Jenny McCarthy in a movie. It tries to be too many things at once. It's better, I think, than New Nightmare, where Wes Craven was examining the same type of material of the satirical Hollywood, but being a horror movie.
mm-hmm.
But I feel like he hits it more on the head when it's more of the subtext, like in the first Scream, where they're obsessed with the movies, and just that touch of it on the outskirts of the story rather than it being the story itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even the story itself here. I mean, you're on the movie set in this one for like,
right.
what, a half hour, and then you're in a mansion. And so it's not really about them being on the film set that much. But like, there were some ideas, but I feel like it was a lot of rush production. And, you know, they put the thing out in February of 2000. And even then I knew February, ooh, that used to be the dumping ground. And I went and saw it and was like, I want to like it. And there's parts that seem like they could have done something, but overall it just doesn't gel. And we talked about Scream 2 being long. This is
even felt like even longer. It's no bueno. Mm-hmm. I had a real problem with the voice sampler. Like, this is 2000. You could easily get a hold of one of these things or mock or mim, you know, that you know, it just seemed like a really lame twist, especially when she's getting calls and she's not even suspicious. You know, she's supposed to be all paranoid and sort of on guard, but yet she gets fooled by the easiest things. And and then Ross's British girlfriend fucking shows up, you know, as one of the actresses, and I couldn't take this movie fucking seriously for a second.
She was originally going to be the accomplice killer. And I was watching it thinking that, and it's like, oh yeah. And I mean, you do see her die, but her death is a little bit more ambiguous than some of the others. But it is weird. Spoiler, this one's a single killer, which is also strange for Scream because there's always more than one. So how are they going to retcon this movie at some point as to somebody else was pulling the strings too?
I thought, for me, I said, my note said, obvious killer is obvious. It's the director and the cop. And I had some sort of like pact between the two of them. I hadn't seen this since it came out in 2000. Yeah. I couldn't remember it to save my life. But I got the director right, but I was wrong about the cop. Randy's video is the best part of the movie, I think. And like when she shoots, I mean, Randy tells her, he straight up tells her, you're going to have to kill this dude by cutting his head off. Regular shit's not going to work. And she shoots him point blank 5 times and then looks away and looks back, and he's not there. Why? Because he's wearing a fucking bulletproof vest. You should have shot it. And even later on, they have to tell Dewey to shoot him in the fucking head. Dewey in the head. Oh, yeah.
There's an alternate earlier version of the ending that's on the DVD as well, where Sidney does away with the Scott Foley. Is that his name?
I think so.
Or Dave Foley's the Kids in the Hall guy. Yeah. Scott Foley's the actor in this movie, who's another July 15 person like me. They do away with him real quickly in this early version, and audiences were like, all that build up and she just kicks his ass that quick. So they put a little bit more of the fight, which makes the movie drag on longer. Although when you watch that cut compared to the finished, they made the right choice overall. But yeah, pacing. The pacing is all over the place. It's Peter Deming as the DP again from part 2. It has a totally different look, I think. Right? Isn't this one like a little grainier overall?
It is. I think it does. You're right. It does have a little bit of a different look.
Well, they're not in Woodsboro, so.
Thank God for that.
Oh, well, for a little bit they are. And then this movie introduces the hero can have hallucinations. So in the future movies, when people see people who have been dead for movies like they're Force ghosts or something, well, the precedent's already been set. So
Yeah, then Heather Matarazzo shows up in this suddenly, the girl
Right,
from
right.
Welcome to the Dollhouse, and it's just like, what?
Another
Okay,
Roseanne alumnus in horror film.
sure, yeah, why not? And then Carrie fucking Fisher shows up, and
Oh
you're like,
yeah,
what?
there's a lot of stunt casting as these movies went along. I want to be in the next Scream movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't another Scream movie after this one for a very long time. And that was the fourth one. And then that one didn't do that well. So it took them even longer till they made the fifth one. But the fifth one was a huge hit. And the sixth one made a lot of money too. So 6 and 7 on the way as the time of recording this.
I did like, I think it was Scream 2 where they were using caller ID and shit like that. And then it sort of kind of, seemed to fade away. Nobody star 69 anybody. And it looked, Jesus, at one point, Ghostface literally pulls the rug out from somebody who's running away from him that he stabbed.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
become
I'm
Scary
like,
Movie at this point.
what kind of Looney Tunes ass Hanna-Barbera shit is this?
R69, it's in the deleted scenes.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I remember I was
but still,
I'll go ahead and watch these just for the show. And it was like, oh, that's where it is.
That rug pull was some Three Stooges shit.
Mm-hmm.
And also, how many knives does Ghostface have? Like, he loses one and then suddenly he pops back up, pulling one out again. It's like, yeah, how many knives does this fucking guy have?
There's a certain method to taking masks off in these Scream movies. Have you noticed that? They always take them off from the bottom up.
Yeah, from the chin up. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's also like if you fall on the ground and somebody's above you in the stance where they're going to stab you, it's like, uh-oh, you've locked into this position. You're done for. It becomes very, video game-like. And it's like, you're going to get stabbed because you've fallen into one of the tropes of the movie, kind of.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're very deliberate of how they take the masks off. And you might go, well, how else are you supposed to take that mask off? It doesn't matter what mask it is. It could be the Greek tragedy masks in part 2. They're taking them off from the bottom up, which there's a poster of that in Sid's house. And you also see her wearing the letters of Jerry O'Connell's character from the previous movie.
I missed that. Okay.
These little touches,
I had missed that. Let's see. So $40 million. It made something like 120 or something like that.
No, still did well enough, but they decided that's good for now.
161 worldwide, 90 in the U.S. I mean, that's enough that they can, yeah. Well, I mean, I think the first two were much bigger successes than that.
Yeah, I know there was a TV show, but I could never get into it. So
no, me either.
And your movie next week is Scream 4 because we got to keep going. No. And part of me almost would want to be like, I'm so invested at this point, but there comes a time where you need a break, just like it took them. So
no, let's just Scream 4. Please don't even watch Scream 4.
I like Scream 4 more than Scream 3. I remembered at least. I think they try a little more in that one. Maybe that's the wrong word. It's a little less confused. Perhaps.
I think Scream 3 is probably, for me, again, out of the 3 Screams that we've had, that's the weakest Scream.
Oh, yeah. What do you give it on our scale?
2.
You give it a gentleman's 4?
Gentleman's 4, yeah.
I give it a 3, but it's leaning towards the 2.5, yeah.
I'd go 2.5, actually, I think. I'm being a little rough on it, I think. But it's look, it's not a great one, and it's not one I'm going to watch very often.
No, I don't either. That's why I'm always unfamiliar with it when I watch it back, and it never really provides anything new that I didn't catch before. It's more of I like some of the concepts, but that's all we get is a concept, really. We don't really get the follow through on it.
It's just weirdly put together. One of the things in my notes was we stray further and further away from the stab. The fake movie of Scream is called Stab because in the first couple of movies, everybody dies with a fucking knife. But in this thing, it's guns and whatever, smashing people's heads up against whatever. And there were so many other ways that Ghostface killed people. It was like, when is he just going to stab somebody? And of course, it happened in the end and a little bit in the beginning, but I mean, I know Cotton got stabbed, but that's not how he died, right?
Sure. No, I think he did get stabbed, and then we just never
Did
see
he?
him again.
Okay, because it just seems like it
Oh,
just
remember the
seems
joke? He was in a movie called He Was Stabbed. He was making a movie called Stab. We think it might be related. So.
right. I guess from what I remember, it just seems like they all died in very different ways and not by knife, which is what the movie used to be anyway. So what do I know? What do I know, Marty?
Well, I know this much. I was talking about how the structure is clunky and the pacing was weird of Scream 3. And then I got to watch our second movie today. What was it called?
He Never Died.
I was going to call it He Has Risen. See, I can't even remember the name of it. He Never Died, from 2015, starring Bruce Willis as this guy on a train. And no, that was Unbreakable. What is He Never Died?
It is it's a movie. All right, He Never Died. 2015, rated R, hour and 39 minutes. Starring Henry Rollins, written and directed by Jason Krasik. I'm gonna say Krasik. Apologies if I've massacred your name there, sir. Here's your logline. Jack, a social outcast, is thrust out of his comfort zone when the outside world bangs on his door and he can't contain his violent past. Storyline.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Jack's in a rut. Depression and severe antisocial behavior has whittled down his existence to sleeping and watching TV. He spends his days in a diner playing church bingo and sleeping. When some hired thugs show up, Jack's life is stirred up and the question of his existence comes to light.
Now, don't worry, people. He's not playing bingo in the dining hall. Although, we're already writing a more interesting movie. So, we should be careful about that. I mean, this is a movie. Now,
this is a movie.
The structure was a little clunky because it's a slow burn.
Like, it's a slow burn movie for sure.
You have to wait an hour before you go, oh, okay, this is a horror movie, or at least a half hour, I think. But
I think it's more like a half. Because at first it's just kind of violent and you don't understand why. Mm-hmm. And then as you get into it, you go, oh, okay. And then by the end, it's probably a little more horror.
I mean,
but it's a horror comedy for sure. It's not like it's like Constantine is a horror movie, like you said earlier.
Well,
you alluded to in your opening statement, sir.
I mean, it says it's a comedy, which I didn't know until after I watched the movie, and it was like I had give me Liberty all over again, where I was like, that was supposed to be funny. Oh, I guess it was supposed to be more of a.
It's dark humor. I mean, I had some. It's like Pulp Fiction is a comedy, right? Like there's humorous elements in it, but it's all dark humor type shit,
Right. So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's an early credit of a person named Boo Boo Stewart. And right away, reading that name, I was like, well, it's not a Creed song, so we're already off to a better start than Scream 3.
Oh, they wish they had the Creed song for this movie. This movie better, I think, actually. It would have been more triumphant. So we're spoilers like crazy, and then we find out that, as one Letterboxd user called this, paraphrasing, this is one of those spin-offs of the Bible. We find out
later,
like, this is a Cain solo adventure, right?
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, does this movie benefit from us not finding out anything about who he is or what he is until so far into the movie? Because much like Strange Darling, we talked about sequence and stuff.
Sure. No, that's a great question, actually. That's a really good question.
It, or does it make it more interesting if we know from the beginning, like a Constantine, like a Taken, like a Unbreakable, or a lot of the movies that it's aping, or Wolverine for that matter,
Sure.
But it hides this from us so long that I'm just kind of.
I'll say this
on for a while. Yeah,
I'm not sure. Here's the thing: I like the fact that it doesn't have a religious tint to it at all.
That's true.
Like up until the point where he says, I don't know, I've been around a long time. And she goes, how long? He goes, I'm in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And then explains who he is. for me, that was a really powerful moment, because I'm like, damn, because there's nothing religious about the guy at all. He's not carrying anything around. And I love the old man and his fucking screaming match that he has with God. Basically, that's who that old man is. It's God, who's checking in on him and seeing how he's doing, watching him pay his mortal fucking sin of killing his own brother, right? And but yet all that's just like unless you know about religion or whatever, the movie says nothing about any of that. It's all just subtext and context. You know that's God. You know why he's screaming at him. You know what's happening. But at no point does he talk about paying for his sin or living. You know, he screams and says, "I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this." But it's only in that moment, and he doesn't talk to her about it. He doesn't talk to anybody else about it. And there's no exposition of it for the audience. You either know it or you don't, which I kind of fucking dug.
To me, it's like seeds of a much better movie that we don't get to see. You know, you're an hour into the movie, and then it starts to get interesting, and I've long checked out by then. And I'm thinking, if all those elements that you're talking about had been introduced at certain points throughout, I mean, it does become more superhero-like, which it kind of is anyway. But then I think it would be, I don't know, maybe more engaging, because the movie's giving you stuff to hook you instead of an hour in. Then it's like, okay, now let's get the blood pumping. And I'm like, well, what have I been doing for the last hour? You know, I've just been sitting around waiting for. Well, I bitch and moan, because these type of movies are your direct-to-video kind of filler banger films, and eventually we're going to have a few of those come through the show, and they're meant to be genre pieces that are just programmers. I can't be too hard on it, looking at it like Lawrence of Arabia or something.
I mean, I think it does its best to try and rise above that. It really does. It's an earnest film. It's not. If you could call it a programmer or a slot filler, I get it, but I feel like it's an earnest film. Whoever made it, the writer director, was really trying to tell his own story about this and kind of include elements. I do like that this girl kind of steps through a door and into like an entire fucking new world. Like, you know, there's some really cool moments in the film. If I like the look of it, I think that it's got a weird mix of the mundane yet interesting shots. It feels like Jarmusch to me in a weird way. There's some very much, there's a little bit of Ghost Dog in there.
Well, you know, it is shot well and it sounds good.
It's well made for that, in that reason.
But a lot of those type of movies, you know, they are, at least, you know.
It reminds me of Undead John Wick, Undead Equalizer. You know, it's. But I also say in the beginning, I think that the director's trying to set up this kind of comedy of errors where, like, he goes to save the guy who's his blood guy, right? And then the mob comes back with a couple more guys, and he fucks those guys up. And then the mob comes back with even more guys, you know, and they end up drugging him and trying all these different ways so it becomes this sort of almost like it builds and builds and builds. And it's almost comedic, darkly comedic, that the mob can't kill this guy. They can't get it done.
Well, I think we're getting to the root of what my issue is with it here. This was, I think, for at least his follow-up, if not this movie as well, was intended more of to be a TV series. So I think he had more story to, you know, spill out over a longer period of time, whereas the movie is trying to do that, but then it realizes, shit, we're 65 minutes in, now we got to cram everything else really quick. But as a TV show, he probably would have had more time to play with it. I'm fairly certain the sequel was originally designed to be a TV show, but when that fell through, he rewrote it as a sort of remake, and it's called She Never Dies. So,
well, it's more like a continuation, I guess.
So,
or whatever, or like
I look at it that way. It's like, I see what you're trying to do, but unfortunately, it's like, I think wires got crossed. You know, it's like, oh, trying to have the cake and eat it too. So,
I don't know. I think he again. Like I said, I think it's trying to do and does some things very well. It's not a great movie, but it does some very weird things. I don't eat meat, and then suddenly he's eating meat constantly. I love how he spits blood on the boyfriend. You know, like I'd quit fighting too. I was like, oh man, like I don't fight or not. I don't want to. Come on. I especially like there was a scene where he's walking and talking with her, and the camera's kind of following him down the street, and it's busy, and it just looked really good. It was a really nice shot, nice slice of life. I liked the way it was colored. I just thought that's a nice looking shot. Really did some nice things.
Well, yeah, it's not like it's a bad movie per se. It's just not something that I want to watch.
I found watching him lick all that blood off the floor was particularly gross.
Mm-hmm.
And, and watching him scoop it into a glass to drink it was really
that was nasty.
Yeah, it was really nasty. So they did good there.
Well, it's certainly no Predestination.
I think that's where the humor starts to come in, is where he's like, he comes back to, he gives her all that money and she leaves. She's like, are you sure I can have this money? Yeah. And then he comes back to her and he's like, you said you'd give me a ride. I need a ride.
You'll never see me again. And he comes back like 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. And she just keeps going, fuck, okay, fine. And, the money is a good motive.
Oh my.
Yeah, so he's slew Abel and he was banished from Eden and I guess cursed with immortality, which is interesting, but a strange. I don't understand why he had like scars on his back, like he had wings. Because I guess
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Cain was just the son of Adam. So I mean, does that mean that Adam and Eve had wings and they were flying around? What
is it? In the poster lies too. It was like a Chekhov's gun that never paid off, and I actually forgot about it until you mentioned it right now.
Okay. I think our driving scenes with the talking are better in Revenge of Zoe than theirs was in here.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought I was like, hey, I think our car scenes actually look better than this.
Hey, they got this made, and it did what it was supposed to do. And for 10 years ago, wow, it served its purpose. And I'm sure it's the people that like those type of movies are probably gonna enjoy it more. Like if your big thing is like Taken and like all the Wolverine movies,
John Wick,
Unbreakable, Death Wish,
Equalizer, yeah.
Go ahead and throw this one in the stack. Yeah.
It's not horrifying, but it is hyper violent.
It has elements of horror enough that I'd say yes, this qualifies for the spooky season definitely, because there's some funky shit going on.
It is, but it's not
really more of an action movie.
To me, it's not scary. It's more like thematic or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like it's just dealing with the elements of horror with this blood and the undead and all that. But really, it's just kind of violent. It's just a violent movie about a guy who's been around a long time and is now fucking with the mob.
Yeah.
Which is it's pretty straightforward. At an hour 39, I think, even then, I think I maybe might have trimmed 5 minutes off of it.
Oh, at least.
Might a little bit cut just a touch there. But again, it is a slow burn movie.
Yeah.
And it's designed to be that way.
I know.
And it does speed up when it's supposed to and get going.
It does get violent. A little interesting.
But... And yeah.
Pretty fun ending.
Yeah. Yeah, and the ending's fucking weird. It's a weird ending. It's a strange movie. I found it. This is the second time I'd seen it. I watched it a couple years ago, but I found it even funnier the second time, where I knew what was going on, and so I was kind of familiar with it. And there were several parts where I was actually laughing out loud. I thought it was pretty funny, and I enjoy him and his daughter kind of going around on their weirdness. I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, I can see why people wouldn't like it. For me, it worked. And it worked way more than Scream 3 did. Anyway, what else? That's all. I think that's all I got. Yeah, weird ending.
I don't have many notes on it. Yeah.
Okay. What do you give it?
Well, if I gave Pope's Exorcist 1.5.
Oh boy.
And I gave Step Brothers a 1. then it justifies my 1/2 rating for this one.
You are kidding me.
This was, once again, one of the worst ones I've had to watch for the pod.
Come on. 3 stars.
That's how I feel when you're saying you like it. Yeah, I'm like, well, I guess he has his reasons, but
3 stars.
And like I said, it's not bad. It's just, this is not for me. And by the time it started to become for me, it was over. And then it had that weird ending, and I was just left going, oh boy, maybe I shouldn't be so harsh on things like Strange Darling and stuff, because I don't know what's around the corner.
I mean, I thought it was an honest, unique take on horror and on something, again, throwing in the biblical in there and not making it a biblical movie. So it wasn't like The Pope's Exorcist or Constantine and those type of things. It was fun. Whereas, and again, that's why I say I would watch it over Scream 3, where Scream 3 is just kind of like a Xerox of a Xerox of a Xerox, right? Where you're like, at least this is in focus and in color. And this fucking thing is kind of a faded wreck. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'd put them both on if I needed to fall asleep, probably.
Word.
It's weird. Like I said, I give it the 1/2, but it's only when you put it in the proximity of those other movies. It's not like it's like it's much better than Zorro, I think. But I don't start going underneath.
Well, you gave Zorro like a 1.5.
Well, yeah, I gave Zorro a 1/2, but we don't go lower than a 1/2.
I thought you gave Zorro a 1.5, didn't you?
That was a 1/2. So I don't want to start creating a negative rating, or maybe Zorro. I just have to fix my sliding scale, but then I start giving out more 4s and 5s.
Poor Zorro.
But maybe Rob Maynard had a point. You guys just keep giving 3s to everything. So I don't know. It's like the other movie is 3 with an asterisk because it's more leaning down. This is probably a 1/2 with an asterisk leaning up. But
I mean, I could even
more. So
I mean, I could even be. I think I'm giving it that extra 1/2 star again because of I always have said it before. Rewatchability is a factor for me.
Oh yeah, I can never watch that again.
And I don't want to rewatch Scream 3 again.
Yeah, I'm probably not watching that again anytime soon either. So
and if you Sophie's choiced me, if you said, look, you have to watch one of these 2 or 3 times in a row over the next day, or you get a bullet in the fucking head. I'm going He Never Died.
Either one, you don't want to do that to somebody.
I'm going He Never Died.
Because then you're going to start hating
Imagine that you're Wednesday in the second Addams Family movie, and they're going to lock you in the Disney room and make you watch Disney all day. But it's 1 or 2 of these movies all day. Which one is it? Scream 3, or is it He Never Died?
Well, it's got to be the Scream 3. At least I can enjoy some of the characters in it.
I hear you. I
get to see Randy's speech every 90 minutes or so. But either one would be fucking abject torture after a while. It's like, oof.
I can't argue with that, my friend.
But they are horror movies, and we've covered an interesting batch of 6 various, like the ones we covered last week, like Darkman. You can consider it in the horror field enough.
Yeah, it counts. No, it counts.
This season.
Look, I mean, horror's a cool. Horror's like sci-fi. It's cool because it covers a lot of ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can, a lot of things mix into horror, which I like. That's one of my favorite things about it.
But do you think that did the movie benefit from us not discovering who Cain was until it was almost over?
That's a great question.
I mean, obviously it's a different movie, and it's not the movie the guy was trying to make, probably, but...
I mean, I don't think so. And here's why. I do think one of the things that the movie is faulty in is this whole first time you see him, he wakes up, he gets up, he's got the scars on his back. So you're thinking fallen angel the entire time. And then he goes, no, I'm just Cain from the Bible. Okay, well then why do you have the fucking scars? What's this whole story about? And that never resolves, right? And I feel like if they just hadn't had the scars and they just had him get up and tell that he was Cain earlier, now maybe that changes the impact of learning about him and the mystery of who he is. But at least
TV show, yeah.
But at least at this point, who you're dealing with and why he's kind of invulnerable and he doesn't really worry about being hurt and all these types of things.
right?
So I guess it's
maybe,
you do lose the mystique of him a bit, I think.
but if it was
If you find out early.
if it was a TV show, do you find out halfway through season 1 who he is, or do you wait till the end of season 1, like the cliffhanger? And I feel like maybe that's what the movie's kind of like in a way.
I think it depends on how. Okay, what
I need
form,
more.
what format are you doing? Are you doing like long form AMC, like Mad Men type, or are you doing Greatest American Hero?
Well, those are both 45, 48-minute shows, right?
They are, but the way that the plots are laid out are completely different. I mean, most Greatest American Hero episodes are self-contained and hardly ever
they're not going to do it like that. That's
reference each other.
Everything's got a storyline now.
Yeah, Mad Men is completely threaded, right? So,
and then eventually there's some foe that Kane's up against. You're like, no, you're missing the whole point. It was supposed to be about one man fighting himself, not about supervillains.
Exactly.
There is no Mr. Glass in the film. So.
I do really enjoy the scene where he was walking around trying to pick a fight and nobody would pick a fight with him. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of fun, where he was just like, he's just bumping into people and they're going, hey man, excuse me, sorry, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun to talk about this one again when we do the season recap. And
oh boy,
because like the only reason I can't give it a higher rating is because I gave those other movies those ratings, and I feel like it would be discredit to those. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But like I've said before, it's how you feel that week. And I just watched this movie like 2 days ago, and
well, you didn't like it, and that's fine. He didn't have to, but you had to watch it, and that's good enough.
Things have sat on my head a lot more than this. At least I knew a half hour in that I'm like, okay, this is it's one of those. Just get through it. It'll be fine. The movie's not going to hurt you. It's just,
Don't let it have that power, Marty.
Yeah.
Don't like give it that power.
Part 2 or something, or part 3. It's like, they're fine. They're direct to video. It's fine. It serves its purpose.
So what do you got for me next week?
That was the spooky season, and we've wrapped up a little bit more of our thematic shows for the last quarter of the year, but there's more coming up. Mm-hmm. We got our Thanksgiving episode coming up in a few weeks, but before then we have a few just regular old weeks of Talking Pondo, and I think a Talking Pondo with guest shows up, and those aren't themed. So let's go back to the well, shall we?
Back to the drawing board.
We're coming up on 100 episodes of the show, mm-hmm. and so there's only so many more spots to get things in before we hit to episode 100. And I can already tell Cliff's got the body language like, what the fuck? What the fuck are you going to give me? And it's like, no, it's actually a nice change of pace. Or is it?
Let me open my posture up and be accepting.
Be open and accepting.
There we go. All right, go ahead.
For episode 93 of Talking Pondo. It's a version of the movie I haven't seen because it just came out a few years ago. Even though there used to be a director's edition, this is like a new director's edition. I guess they redid the effects for HD finally. Your movie next week is Star Trek The Motion Picture, the director's edition.
Really?
Yeah, let's curveball. Let's watch this first Star Trek movie.
Fucking A.
And I figured which version, and I'm like, well, let's watch the version that just came out a few years ago. See what the difference is, because we could watch the original or the old school special, but I'm like, give me an excuse to sit through this. So,
okay, Star Trek the original. That's one with the bald lady. Mm-hmm. That'll be good. The Voyager and the bald lady. The director's cut, which is like 3 hours long. Is that right?
It's pretty long. I don't think it's quite that long, but apparently they redid all those effects now so they could make an HD.
I saw that in the theaters.
They couldn't. Yeah, the special edition was SD effects. Yeah, I saw it in theaters too, so I figured it would be very appropriate for a making Pondo almost.
Well, that's a good call. You've brought some real sci-fi classics in this season, man. You got Planet of the Apes, and this one in particular really good. I'm going to give you another classic. Right. A lot of people consider this one of the best buddy comedies of all time. So I'm going to give you Midnight Run.
Oh, nice.
And we'll get through that. That's De Niro and oh my goodness,
Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin, thank you. I wanted to say Charles Kaufman. But that
now that's a very definition of like a cult movie, because it didn't do well in theaters necessarily. Didn't have that large of a release, but then once it hit video and cable, boom,
huge. Yep, a lot of people love that movie.
Critics all like it too. Yeah.
Critics like it too. So I think it's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a good double feature, because we'll come off of the high of talking about Star Trek for 45 minutes and we can banter about Midnight Run for a while. So it should be good.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I guess until then, I just want to say it keeps my mind straight.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Later, man. Don't miss an episode. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like us on YouTube, or give us a 5-star rating on the podcast app of your choice.